And now, WWE Network presents NXT Takeover New York.
Takeover New York. From time to time, we're just gonna also do like some random reactions to certain shows or certain takeover events. Just to mix it up for ourselves too, because like of course we want to kind of cover like the current product from time to time. Once we actually get to it in the next few years, obviously we'll have a different take on it. So you'll get a different perspective either way. And plus, we're not scoring these; it's just like legit, like actual like reactions to like what we just saw. So ahead of time, if you notice, we don't call every single move or every single thing that they say. It's because we literally just watched it for the first time. So overall, I guess before we get to the matches, what did you think of Takeover New York?
It was randomly put together, I thought.
Yeah.
But once it started, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because all the matches were really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like from start to finish. Like their usual kind of trope of starting with the tag title match is always a good thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it worked out to perfection this time with the equally as random put together team of Ricochet and Blackishay.
Ooh, okay.
But man, they wrestle really good together. But you know what it is? Like they really, if you look at them wrestle together, they're not really wrestling together. They're just wrestling their own matches when they get tagged in.
Yeah.
So it's like once Ricochet gets tagged in, he starts doing Ricochet stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Once Aleister Black gets in there, he starts doing Aleister Black stuff. So
yeah.
It's like they don't really have too many tag team moves, and that's fine. I'm not like knocking them for it, but it's like, all right, now that I think about it, that's what you're getting in that. But since when they do their things, it's so dope. It's like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So, and then the War Raiders, I think I don't want to say underrated because they're really good, and everybody knows they're really good, but I don't think they're appreciated for being as good as they really are. 'Cause I think the War Raiders are hella good.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Like to me, I had heard about them when they were the indie scene with War Machine, but like I never like personally like watched the full match or anything. But I will say like with everything that had happened tonight, like with people who I'm not familiar with their actual matches, like War Raiders or Matt Riddle, I would say tonight was definitely like the night where like I grew to appreciate them just because like I got to actually see like a full match and see like what their styles were. And like, yeah, with this like first matchup, like the tag team matchup, I felt like I think they already proved themselves to me at the War Games takeover. But I think for sure, like in a standard like tag team match, they really like showcase like what they're all about, and they're like amazing pretty much.
Yeah, they're like the type of team that's like you would never want to see them broken up.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of people say that about the Dudley Boys too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They actually had decent, or Bubba did. He had a decent solo career.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, the War Raiders are really good together. That match was fantastic. The high spots were, of course, really high, and then it was like high risk, high reward, or no reward. In Ricochet's case, at certain moments, it was really dope, man. That was a great way to like warm up the crowd.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I think they always have like one or two like dark matches, but even then, like they don't. They do like a really solid like match for like the next tapings for NXT. But I like the balance that they do where like they're really good matches, but then once that first like opener happens and like, yeah, more than likely the trend was the tag team matches started off. But yeah, how you mentioned like the kind of thrown up team of like Black and Ricochet, like they work together well. Like I think the only things that they do as a team is just like do it like Black's like pose and like kind of like
yeah. Like they'll both do the little Indian style sit.
Yeah.
Or like Aleister Black basically just does his entrance.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Ricochet jumps in and poses with him.
Yeah,
like,
I like
you
that.
had a full entrance.
Yeah.
He had a full entrance, and you just joined him at the end. Like we could easily smooth this out somehow, but I don't know how they want to do it.
But you know why though? Because like it makes like a good photo of them at the end. Because like that's the perfect photo to take of like the team.
And then you just get like more footage of them walking out. So
yeah.
And it's not like they're going to be a tag team for unless they want to sneak them in there win the Raw tag team titles for no reason.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're going to be a tag team for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. No, I get it. And like, I think I had heard before people saying that they made them a tag team for now just because, like, obviously we know how full the roster is. So at that point, like, in a way, it's a good way because, like, you want to get these guys on their last show on NXT. But of course, you don't want them to take like a top spot for like the North American or main championship. But you still want to kind of give them their nice farewell and like get them on the card. And yeah, so I think this was perfect. As much as like maybe the other team needed it, like what's his face, the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah,
they're still not that ready yet, and like of course they'll have their time. But like I think they made the perfect use of like putting Black and Ricochet as the winners of the Dusty Cup Classic.
Yeah, that's a good. Hey, thanks guys.
Yeah.
On your way out while we work you to death.
Yeah.
All right, Raw, SmackDown.
Yeah.
NXT.
I would say like we do need to chill a little bit with them now after post-Mania. I would say because I've had that Ricochet song in my head like forever now, just because of how many times they've showed up on all 3 shows.
I find myself trying to walk like Aleister Black because you know how he just has like a certain kind of walk. It's kind of stiff.
Yeah.
Like I get out of my seat at work and I start walking and I be thinking, blah, 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 blah. And like I start walking like him a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah. No, for me, I'm just like, I just like hear the one. Only, and then I just like do that like pose. At first, I hated that song, and now it's just like I've heard it so many times now that like it's stuck in my head.
It beat you into submission. That's what it did.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how it got me too. I didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah,
no, I love it.
Yeah. I don't. Do you remember the exact finish? I can't. I know they isolated both of them, which is really cool because it puts over War Raiders as like a legit team where like they work together to isolate each one and then capitalize. And I think they just hit like their main finisher at the end.
But what really did it is that Ricochet whiffed the 630.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Completely wiped out. And then that's what really like it was like, oh no, he went to the well too often.
Yeah.
And then that's when they got Black out of the way and hit their finisher on. So that was like the exact finish for that.
Yeah.
Because that's what like I was sitting there and I was watching the match. I was like, man, it's a real good match.
Yeah.
And like he got up there for the 630 and I was like, oh man,
no.
And then he did it and then he missed. And I was like, oh man, you just see his whole body just hit the mat so hard. I was like, you can't brace for that, bro. Like,
at that speed and friction that you're going, you can't. Like, obviously, other moves like a splash or even like a shooting star, like, obviously, you're still going to have like friction and like,
Like, even if he was doing a 450, like,
yeah.
One circle open up and like splat. But with the 630, you have to throw so much commitment into getting around like that 1.5 times.
Yeah.
And, oh, no, you're not there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a legit like bug splat on like a windshield.
Oh
yeah,
that was like, oh man, Ricochet, I'm sorry.
How we mentioned like awesome match, and then like it was pretty cool. Like they actually did give them their send off, and I think Ricochet was like crying too, which was pretty cool. Yeah, like it definitely got to him because like he's only really been there for like a year because like his debut takeover was the one that we went to, right? I think
that is right.
Yeah.
It was at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, but I know he had already started wrestling on the main like weekly show, but I think like his actual like takeover debut was last year. So, but I mean, from what I've heard, like everyone loves being down there in NXT. That they already some of them already know each other from like working in the indies so many years that. But even then, like I bet they do grow attached to everybody and just like.
Yeah, because they're all learning together too, like in a certain way too. So you can see it. Like Johnny Gargano don't never want to leave NXT.
Oh yeah. Him and Cole just being the main event because like now they are like pretty much the senior and like locker room leaders at that point since they've been there so long. But pretty awesome match like as an opener as well. And then we had the North American Championship with Riddle versus. The Velveteen Dream. Dream as a champion. And I think it was good. Like I said, like I had not really seen too much of like Riddle stuff before. So finally like him getting like a legit like full-time like takeover length match like really showcased like his abilities to me, and like I definitely like respect him a lot more than I did before, because before it was just like hype, you know, they just kind of give him like squash matches against Ono and like a couple other dudes.
I like I when I like look at Matt Riddle, I'm like, I don't really like vibe with him.
Yeah.
But then like he starts wrestling, and I'm like, man, I really vibe with him.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's what it was. Is like obviously you just know the character outside, but like you don't really know like technicality wise how he is. Yeah, man, he definitely brought it in this match, and like I liked how at first I thought they were gonna go like heel with Dream, but like it kind of evened out. There wasn't really kind of the same thing with the tag match. There wasn't really they were both. Oh, I would say going back, sorry, shortly with the tag match, I really did like those signs of respect in the beginning of the match, where like Black could have like kicked. I think it was. Not Hanson. What's the other guy's name? Rowe, yeah. Like he could have kicked him in the head, but didn't out of respect. And I think it was vice versa, where like Rowe could have done something to Black, but he didn't. And like they kind of hesitated at the beginning of the match. And then as slowly as the match went on, like they started, of course, getting more violent. And, yeah.
The build was perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think it was the same thing with this match, where like these guys didn't really have a huge beef with each other going into the storyline. It was more of just like one-upsmanship, and I think that's what I really like about like Dream's character, is like he's not that typical heel that will do stuff, you know, like sneak attacks. Even when he was a heel, he wasn't really doing that with Black, where all he wanted was Black to say his name at that point.
Yeah, because he's not really a heel per se. Like he's supposed to be. I think he was originally.
Yeah.
But since people took to him, it was like, well, you're not really a heel. But we could just. They really didn't even really tweak it. It was just like, I just want you to say my name.
Exactly.
And Aleister Black was like, no. And he was like, say my name. No. Like, that's all really you wanted. Like, I don't even remember if like Dream attacked him backstage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what
he was just getting on his nerves.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what I like about him, is like he had those heel tendencies, but he didn't like be committed to like being a full-time heel. He was just like, he just wanted that respect from him, and by saying his name. And he was like beating it out of him at the Takeover show, and that's what I really liked about his character at that point.
And didn't he pretty much do the same thing with Matt Riddle? He's like, that fool Riddle was like, hey man, I want a title shot. And he was like, oh really? Basically, no. You can't have it, Matthew.
Matthew.
He was like, what? And then they ended up having a match.
And then I did like throughout the match that like with Riddle, he also like started getting more frustrated towards the end, like because he was hitting him with like all his like strikes and everything, and then it was cool. It was kind of like something that I never had seen like with RVD, just like as a comparison of like just like that chill kind of like attitude wrestler, because RVD never really got like angry, but that's the difference between him and Riddle. I would say, based on just this match, is that like just seeing him still be like that chill persona at the beginning of the match, during the entrance and everything. And then like towards the end, where like he couldn't really get the upper hand no matter what strikes he hit, like then he started like really getting frustrated and angry. So it showed another layer of his character, which I thought was really cool.
I was telling Jamie, I was like, you know, I hope that like after WrestleMania, if Ronda Rousey does take some time, that she comes back as a better wrestler.
Oh yeah,
because like you got people like Shayna Baszler and Matt Riddle, who were like, you know, also full-fledged MMA fighters.
You
know, with like kind of like Shayna Baszler had a very long career as like an MMA fighter too. Like, so for her to transition so well, is really cool. Matt Riddle is transitioning very well. He's still pretty green, but his style is working. Like, I didn't think it was going to translate well, but he just worked a good match with the Velveteen Dream. So I was like, all right. So I thought that was going to be a weird match since they're both technically like kind of green. But if you look at the way that they drew it up, they worked it perfectly to where they could hide that. Because Riddle, you know, clearly could do like the striking thing and beat somebody up. Like, that's dope. He beat the crap out of him. And then when it came for him to sell, he sold. But it was mostly on Dream to sell in that match. So it was like, okay, that's where this one's going to go. So you have to play a heel right now. So that was like very interesting to see that. So that was one thing that I liked that I thought was really cool. It was like, no, like, despite both of them technically both being faces, somebody had to play the heel.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's what I liked is like with this match and the tag match before, like someone had to like play it somewhat in a role just so like it can influence the crowd a little bit more and get them interested in that dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
The ending of the match was pretty cool. Riddle obviously didn't see the Baszler and Kyrie match from a couple of months ago, where like it was kind of the same finish of getting into the submission and then doing that roll up to kind of counter them as they're in the submission hold.
Oh yeah. I guess he didn't see that. He didn't see Balor and Joe do it 20 times. I actually really like. I don't know why I like that spot, but I love it.
I like it when like it's so far they've used it at the perfect times where like they're not overusing it, so it's kind of cool where like. And it makes sense too because like obviously like it's his first major title match and still like inexperienced in that area. So character and storyline wise, it makes perfect sense that like he would get caught with like that reversal. And
I love that. But like Samoa Joe getting caught by that by like more than once. It's like, come on, bro, you're a veteran.
Yeah, exactly.
You know better. Like he clearly rolled over you.
Yeah.
Let go. Like, but you know that's like one of the like. Great things we're just supposed to believe.
Exactly. But yeah, like I had mentioned, I really like the match. I think it's hard to kind of compare it because we've already set this standard of takeover matches in general just being really good, that if you were to have this same match on like a regular main event pay-per-view like Backlash or what's the car one that just Fastlane. Like pretty much this match would have been match of the night on that show, but based on like how crazy like the bar has been set on Takeover, like to me this wasn't the match of the night. It's not saying anything negative. It's like just saying like how crazy like the bar has been set at that point. You know?
Oh yeah, the bar for takeovers is so high. Like you could look at the card on paper and be like, man, that's a weird looking card. But then once it starts, it literally doesn't matter like what the matches were. Is they just run such a tight ship in that regard.
Yeah.
It really just comes down to that one show of one upsmanship during that show.
Yeah.
Like I can't really compare Takeover to Takeover.
Yeah.
I'd rather just look at the match, like the show itself, and just what was the best one, and just kind of think of it from there.
Yeah. No, I'm on the same level. Also, going back to the thing with Dream and Black, where like at the end of the match when they had their match back at Takeover, Black finally did say his name because out of respect from the match that they had. So it was kind of cool that they kind of did something similar where like
gonna give me my fist bump.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like
I want to give you a fist.
Yeah, but
there's your fist.
Yeah. So I really love like that sign of respect like throughout his character and in general, just like with the way things are done in NXT. So. And then I think the next match was the UK championship match, right? Yeah. So we had the champion Pete Dunne, who's had it for almost 700 days.
685 days.
Yeah. So he's
whipping fools.
Yeah. And like actually whipping fools. He's not like Lesnar or like
he's out there whipping fools.
Yeah, like legitly having like amazing matches like every month and
every time.
Yeah.
Every time that fool wrestles at a takeover, it is a great match.
Like
every time that fool wrestle in general is a great match.
Yeah. Before the UK brand was established, like all the championship matches he's had either on the weekly shows or on the takeovers with what's his face, like Bate, yeah, like have been like amazing. Like I can't even remember like which one to me is like my all time favorite because they've had so many good ones that between him and Bate, I can't.
I have to say it was that one where he beat him for the title.
Okay.
Like where Dunn beat him for the title at Takeover. That match was great.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like the match of the year. Like not even just
exactly.
It was the match.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I can't remember which one was like the match of the year. At the same point, it was like my favorite match of like
I absolutely love that match. Like every time I think about like a Pete Dunne match, I think about that one. Like, oh man.
Yeah. So then the challenger is Walter/Walter, because I swear the first time he showed up, like I swear, like kind of like what you had told me before, like the way they pronounce it, like I thought his name was like Walter, but then the more and more like after asking you about it, I was like, okay, I can kind of hear the W now. Now that
like if you're gonna bring this dude to me in America, we're gonna say Walter.
Yeah.
If you want to say it right, it's Walter.
Yeah. At first, I had heard people talk about him on other like podcasts or like other like recap stuff before he went to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I hear this Walter guy, and then like when he debuted on UK, I was like, wait, is this the same guy? Just because like I didn't know like that's.
It's kind of like you could say Eddie Guerrero, or you could say Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
You can roll it.
Yeah, that's true. I had not seen too much of Walter, but. Same thing, like there was a hype and like based on him, like I knew he would be on the same kind of like scale as like a Keith Lee or what's it called, Dijakovic, where like it's these big guys but like are super agile. So I had assumed like he would have that style, but it seemed like he was definitely more on like that real strong like British style.
No, he's a I like because I didn't know too much about him either, so I did a quick like YouTube and Instagram scrub on him real quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you beat the shit out of people.
Yeah.
And then like the match kind of like gets underway. I was like, oh my God, these guys beat the shit.
Yeah. I really like this match. I like Pete Dunne's like breaking the fingers gimmick, but I would say they may have used it just a few too many times in this match. Like it made sense, but like every single time, like they either went to the top rope or were like in some kind of ground position. That's how Dunne would get out of it. So like I would say the only critique with that, like if they kept doing that spot, is like where every time Dunne had like done like another move on his hand, like it would instantly like just hurt Walter more at that point. Because like every single time it was more like a delayed like way of like how he was gonna like snap his fingers.
Yeah, like he's so like his hand was hurting from time to time.
Yeah.
But not that it was like, broke.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like, yo, bro, he literally like did that to you on the same hand like 12 times.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
ain't got that many fingers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would have wished that like by the end of the match, like if he had still kept attacking it, it would be kind of like, you remember Doomed, like when like the character would be super like bloody and dead, like when he was like only at like 20% health. That's how I would wish he would like have sold his hand by that point at the match, where like he could barely like do any kind of strike or anything with the hand. You know what I mean? But other than that, like all the rough, super strong style like attacks that they did throughout the match was like insane. Like it was really good. Like again, Dunne and Walter didn't disappoint with like representing the UK brand again. So
I feel like there's just so many dudes getting picked up.
Yeah.
That are just just gonna make it hard for certain dudes to never get to WWE.
Yeah.
My examples are Keith Lee and Willie Mack.
Yeah.
Like Keith Lee being with WWE and NXT he fills that void of what Willie Mack would represent. I mean, they're not the same dude, but just on like a stereotype.
Yeah.
It's that big dude that's agile. That's kind of round.
Yeah.
Big dude that's agile. So like they would feel the same void. All right. And then the other one is Cesaro and Walter and then Timothy Thatcher.
Yeah. I was gonna like as soon as you said those two names, like that's who I had thought of.
Because I'm like, man, Walter is dope. And I was like, Timothy Thatcher is dope too.
Yeah. And what sucks is like Dunne is already doing like the hand breaking stuff, and like that's what Thatcher was known for too. So he can't even stand out.
That and European uppercut.
Yeah.
Cesaro turning that into the diamond cutters where he can hit it from anywhere.
Yeah. And I mean, I agree. Like that's the whole thing with like Keith Lee now is because of those spots that are already filled. Because I think I was watching the NXT before Takeover, and they had promoted a match between Keith Lee and Dijakovic that had happened 5 weeks ago. So
I was like, oh my God, it's been that long already?
Yeah, I'm just like, geez, like that's how many guys have to like wait in line at this point where like they're bringing up storylines that had started 5 weeks ago and haven't had like a time to like flesh out. So it's kind of crazy. Like it's in a way, it's like that thing where like I of course still wanted to stay an hour for the weekly shows, but I think in those cases, like that's what like people will kind of fight back and saying like, well, it would make sense to be 2 hours to kind of get those.
Nah, man, I'm cool.
No, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like to me, that's what I feel people would say.
Yeah.
But for sure, like I'm still very happy with being like an hour. So
Yeah, but you know what it is? It just get like you can't see the same people week in and week out.
Exactly.
That's what I think I like about it. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you.
Yeah,
I didn't see you last week. I seen you maybe like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're still fucking with that guy? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it. It's like I seen it was like, oh, it's 5 weeks ago. That's really far,
Yeah.
but I liked it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, okay, this is cool because at least I wasn't just seeing them week in and week out like jabbering each other. It was like, come on.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Gives them a little, wiggle room.
Yeah. So from there, towards the end of the match, like that insane spot at the top rope where is basically like a lifting like power bomb, right? Like where he had him. I don't know if he had countered it or if he was just
No, it was I guess that's one of his moves because
Jesus.
one of the commentators was like, "Oh man, he kicked out of the power bomb. He finished so many people with a power bomb."
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So that was earlier in the match. So then, like when he got up there, and I was like, "Oh, you're like." As soon as he kind of like climbed up there with him, I was like, "Oh, either you're gonna try a Frankenstein or something else, which is not gonna work."
Yeah.
And then it was like he got him, and in the way he powerbombed him was so disrespectful.
Oh my god!
Like,
It's so...
You would have thought that he was gonna like land with him. But
Yeah.
They jumped and he threw him.
He like it was like a dive. Really.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
and he like tossed him, and it was like boom, big collision there. And then I think he splashed him after that.
Yeah, I think that's his finisher is like that big splash.
I don't know, man, because even the commentators were like, "Oh, he doesn't normally go up top."
Oh yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
You should have just pinned him after the powerbomb.
Yeah. But I mean, like it
was a nice splash.
It was a nice splash, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. So good finish after like that splash and really good match. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Dunn is still going to stick around in the UK, or is he going to be moved up at this point
to the main roster?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'd leave him in the UK for a little bit.
Yeah,
that'd be fine for a little bit longer. I mean, unless you really need him in America like that. But what are you going to do? Put him on 205 Live?
Yeah.
Unless you want to give him like a Balor type of, I'm little, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd rather keep Pete Dunne on NXT UK for a little bit longer, so he could. So you really put Walter over if he beats Dunne a second time, and it's like,
okay.
Oh dang, bro, you are that guy.
Yeah.
So then, like, Dunne has to start over. Like maybe he, gets in a tag team or something like that. But like, we need to move forward past the Pete Dunne being that guy, and it has to be definitive. Like even more so than like just. I know they technically get rid of the championship clause, but I'm like, come on, man.
I mean, I think that was their. I don't like that clause either because like I feel like that's their like lazy writing way of like moving past the storyline because like that's what upsets me the most about like the Asuka storyline. It's like normally like at this point like she could really just challenge Charlotte and be like, no, I want my title shot at Mania now, but like now since like that new clause of like, oh, we don't do return matches. Like,
it's like, ooh, welcome to a battle royal.
Yeah. So I really don't like that. Just because like I feel it's lazy on the writer's end because if you wanted to write a story based on a champion rematch clause, you can easily write it and it doesn't have to feel repetitive or old. Like you just have to think of creative ways of going about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like even my favorite thing was I won the title at a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You got to defend it, rematch the next night on Raw.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing. So it's just like, all right, it's probably like the laziest way to do it, but it's like, all right, look, we're just going to have them facing each other again. You're going to beat them. And that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Boom, we're done.
They can even do it like now that I don't know if the rumors are true or like they're trying to like record at house shows and like putting them up on the network. But they can even start doing that if they want, like just have like those matches on like those house shows. Mm-hmm. And technically they had the match, but Yeah,
it's kind of like when Diesel beat Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that. Like, they showed it to us on Raw. Like the next week, it's like, oh man, Madison Square Garden beat in 5 seconds. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
And then at the same time, like it'll help like house show numbers because then they'll be like, oh crap, like
oh man, I gotta go, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. At the end of the match, the only thing. I'm guessing it was more of a time thing and to not repeat the same thing that they had done with Ricochet and Black. But it would have been cool if like they showed like people clapping for Dunn just because he had been the champion for close to 2 years at that point.
Yeah, they kind of did him dirty.
Yeah. So that was my only negative, but I understood it from like just like a production point of view.
And that's what the other thing that really made me think he's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
You didn't really give him
the send off.
The send off for nothing. It was like, all right, bro, you was a champion for like almost 2 years, and we're gonna call you up.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then after that, then we had the women's championship match, the fatal 4-way between the champion Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Bianca Belair. What do you think of this match?
I thought that was a great match too.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think it was gonna. I'm not gonna say I didn't think it was gonna be a great match. I was not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But I watched it in its entirety, and it was really good. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty crazy, man.
I felt it was a good match. Like, I think the crowd was getting a little bit tired by that point because, like, I mean, they'd just seen like that really like technical match between Dunn and Walter.
So it was kind of slow paced.
Yeah. So like, I think that was the only thing that took me away from it a little bit in the beginning of the match because the crowd did seem kind of like quiet and tired. Yeah, as it picked up and like the match started like really getting the crowd behind it and the momentum was back at that point, I think. Yeah, I really liked it. Like, they told a good story between the Sky Pirates just because like they were like working together at the beginning of the match. And then towards the end, like when each of them were trying to get like a pinfall on either Baszler or Belair, that they would start like, interfering. And,
that was dope.
Yeah,
the build for that was perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was building off of like we're going to be friends, but then if you're actually trying to win, then I'm trying to win too, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was really good storytelling. To me, I actually don't remember too much of what Baszler did in this match. Like,
Baszler didn't do nothing in that match.
When you think of
honest, Baszler was chilling. Like I was like, wait a minute, all these spots are not
exactly. Yeah.
I think Baszler got hit with finishers.
Yeah.
Like she got crushed by an insane elbow, absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Didn't she get smashed by the moonsault?
I think she did too. Yeah.
She might have gotten crushed by a moonsault.
Yeah.
I want to say Belair hit a high impact move on her too. But yeah, she mainly was that one in there to kind of get beat up. And that match was really to showcase the other three girls.
Oh yeah. Because like the more I'm like thinking about it in my head now, I see like a visual of like the other three girls having like a spot. They had done something and then like are doing a pose in the ring. I don't remember Baszler at all having like that like dominant spot where like she's like in control of the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there isn't that visual that's like
she had like single moments on everybody. Like, she was part of that big everybody move.
Yeah.
Where she hit the gut wrench.
Oh yeah.
Belair.
That was a good spot.
Pirate Skies hit the powerbomb.
Yeah.
And then she hit her like arm breaky thing on Belair. Where they, she peels the arm back and steps on it, and it basically just does this, but it looks crazy, but it's really literally your arm doing this.
Yeah. It's a good spot. Yeah.
I actually I love that spot. I was like, oh, this is genius.
Yeah.
I think she took some bumps out the ring, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, it's not that she was like not there, but she paid, most of her time was spent either kind of getting a little bit of offense in and then taking a high impact move and then powdering out.
Yeah. I think it was good because, like how you mentioned, like it did give the other three girls an opportunity to shine more. Belair definitely got her spots in with like hitting that. I don't know if it's her finisher, like the one that she did like with both Sky Pirates.
Oh, yeah, the sit out rack thing.
Yeah. So she got her spot there, and like she really whipped Kairi. Like, I don't know if you saw it. Kairi, I don't think was faking it because she legitimately had like that groan, like when she was at the top rope, and then Bianca had slapped her with her hair, and then afterwards you saw like the scar, like because like Kairi's pretty light skinned, and like you just see like that red like.
Belair caught Sane with a crazy forearm at one point in the match. I know she wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
She like cleared her clock. I was like, oh yeah, you're still kind of green.
Yeah.
There's a little too much cheese on that potato.
Yeah.
Man.
Like eating mashed potatoes? I had to like bring it back.
Man, like for as hard as she threw that potato, it turned into a mashed potato when it hit her face.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we're a business. Yeah, that was a showing out for all of the other ones.
And then like I think after that spot where Belair hit her finisher on both Sky Pirates, I think that's when Baszler kind of took advantage and snuck in and
choked her out.
Choked her out, and like I liked it. I like I said, like Baszler has already proved to me that she's like a real player from like previous takeovers.
What the Kira Kuda?
I know what it is, but like I can't.
Basically the cocaine and clutch.
Yeah.
Different person.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. Also, it kind of gave Baszler more legitimacy, I would say, just because like she didn't have to have her.
Yeah, she didn't cheat.
Yeah, she didn't have to have her cronies out there and like
nobody had to play and nobody had to fight.
Yeah.
Period.
Those shirts.
Period. None of that. Tired of it.
I forget what part. I don't know if it was after this match or before this match where they had shown the latest signee.
Kushida?
Yeah. That was cool. Like they haven't done that in a while where like they do that spot of just like showing like a latest signee in the crowd. So that was pretty cool. I've seen some of his stuff and he's like pretty good guy. So like
Kushida's dope. Yeah. Once they destroy 205 and or absorb it into NXT, man, he'll be great.
Yeah. I think I definitely feel like they're gonna pretty much give him Hideo's spot at that point, just because of the kind of like cruiserweight body type and
he's definitely a junior heavyweight.
Can't wait to see him like either on NXT or 205 Live at that point.
That's a tough one because he really could go straight to 205. To be perfectly honest,
yeah.
But I guess you would. I don't even know. See, like we just need to get this whole cruiserweight thing collapsed. And if you really want to do 205 Live, you just call it the NXT Cruiserweight Division.
Yeah.
And you make that your second hour of NXT.
Yeah.
And you just play it right after. And then they just mix and match. Because, there are a bunch of guys on NXT that are cruiserweights.
Because that was my whole thing, too. It's like when they had first done the Cruiserweight Classic, I really thought the title was going to be on, like, Raw, or they could have easily just really made it, like, the mid title on NXT before they had done the North American title. But
they can still sneak it on the NXT. It's silver.
They can. Yeah, they can.
It'll be the what's that? The tertiary.
Yeah.
The tertiary title.
Yeah, and people would still like consider it a high legit title. So
yeah, dude, it would be the goddamn cruiserweight title. Like you got to be under 205 or under.
Yeah.
To go for it, and then if you could keep it in NXT, and then you could have dudes like Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Go for that if you wanted to.
Yeah. What they also could do, and like hopefully, like since they're trying to do this now with like, I assume the women's title on the main roster, with unifying them again, and what they're doing with the women's tag team titles is like with
defend them across all.
Yeah. Like I hope that's what they do eventually, where like if they finally cancel 205, just have that cruiserweight champion defend it everywhere at that point. So
yeah, why not?
Yeah,
just travel around.
Yeah,
like, hey man, you're doing Raw today. All right, don't do like the whole cruiserweight division thing.
Yeah,
all them fools are NXT guys.
Yeah,
period.
Yeah. Exactly, and like they always like rotate them out anyway. So
just go ahead and put them where they belong. Give them a chance to win the NXT title, and then just rotate this whole cruiserweight title thing. You got enough dudes that are like main roster ready that could wrestle on both shows and do non-cruiserweight stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just like they're treating it like it's a brand, but it's not. It's a division.
Yeah.
It's a division within like Raw and SmackDown. I think Raw and SmackDown at NXT, just like the women's tag title.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, I thought that match like was good. Like how I kind of put it at the same level as the North American title match. It was a good match, but based on like the standard that we have already set, like it wasn't my match of the night, but still like a really good showing by the women. And then we go to the main event, which is originally going to be Ciampa, who was the champion, versus Gargano, but Ciampa had surgery and then had to relinquish the title at that point. So Triple H had set up was it a fatal 4-way? I think it was.
Yeah, it was a fatal 4-way to determine who was going to face Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. So Cole had won that match, and then Triple H had said like to make sure we have like a definitive champion at Takeover, it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, which I can't really remember the last time they've had one on either NXT or the main roster. So it's kind of cool. They don't really use that match too often.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. I want to say there was one within the last 2 years though.
Yeah. So then, like the video package was actually really good. Did you see that the video package between Cole and?
Did they like go train?
Yeah, I really like that because like usually we just use stock footage of like the previous weeks, but I really enjoyed that aspect of like mixing it with exclusive footage for that promo. And,
no, yeah, I'm with that. I really enjoyed that too. I was like, oh, this is a good one
because it in a weird way like. It's kind of crazy like how they had to put this matchup together because of Tommaso's injury, but like the way they had done it, it made it seem more sport-like than other sports, which is kind of weird saying because it's like these guys are legit athletes and like now they're fighting over this prize that like they both kind of have a similar story where like they're both like champions and now they're going to compete to be like the first Triple Crown champion. And like it was kind of like fate. But like,
I was so glad that they brought that up since I had brought it up the day before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I said that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool because I didn't really think they were going to acknowledge that. So I was like, oh, dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple Crown.
Yeah. So I really liked it because they made it seem like even though this had happened, like it was fate that these two guys were going to have this match. So
I sure was like, Adam Cole was tag team champion on Technicality.
Yeah. Coincidentally, these two guys had just had the North American title that's just a year old, pretty much. It's kind of cool. So yeah, the match in the beginning it was kind of slow because the only thing I would say about this type of match is like they always do try to get like the first two falls done and get them out of the way, kind of a thing. But I mean, like they played it pretty smart. Where like they told the story of once Cole had to tap out, like he did it like super quick.
Yeah.
I like that part.
So I was like, all right, if we was watching this live and somebody asked me why he tapped out so quick, that is exactly what I would have said.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool to have them say that.
Yeah. It's like they were reading our minds.
Dude, that's like the best thing about commentary and wrestling because it's like it fills in those blanks of like what is implied but is just not explicit in what's happening. So you need the commentary there to be like, oh, he did this because blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, I think that's why, like, when we originally came up with, like, the categories for our podcast when scoring these, I always wanted to include commentary. I don't feel like too many people do that when, like, they have, like, a review show. They always just go, like, with the matches and that's it. Like, they don't really factor in, like, the entire show. To me, like, yeah, the commentary team is just as important as like the wrestlers. There could be like matches like how we've seen before with like McMahon versus Shane or whatever, or Stephanie or whatever. And like, those are going to be like technical matches, but the way like the commentary team adds to that match and to that show, it's like they really do like their job at that point. Really.
Helps dress it up.
Yeah. So yeah, after, sorry, I skipped over, but Adam got the first fall by doing the back of the knee thing.
Yep, he gave him, what do you call it, the last shot? Gave him a last shot to the back of the head.
Yeah. So he picked up the first fall there. So Gargano is now in the sudden death like scenario. And then, kind of how we mentioned that Gargano got a submission hold on him. Cole just tapped out immediately so he wouldn't use that much energy and like save up.
Or take any damage with him.
Exactly, yeah.
Or any unnecessary damage. It's like when you're playing survival mode video game.
Ah, yes.
You knew you shouldn't have tried to do that special. But you tried to do it. But you still won, but you lost held power.
Yeah.
Because you were trying to be flashy.
Yeah. That's what you get when you
don't be flashy.
Don't be flashy. After getting those things out of the way, now it's like they really finally like turned up the heat, I would say, and like started actually doing what they do best and just like I can't say enough like how smooth like these guys are. And like credit goes a lot to Gargano and Cole because like they've had nothing but good matches since like they joined Takeover. So like this was like actually in a way like that dream match because you're like, well, we've always seen Ciampa and Gargano fight and like they've always had like 5-star matches and like we've seen Cole have matches and like they've been like on that same level. But what would happen if you had like both of them going up against each other at a Takeover? Just from memory, like I don't remember anything going wrong. Like these guys just like were like the true professionals that they were throughout the whole match. Really sold like all their counters and like all the close 3 count like every single time they had hit a finisher, then like everyone thought like that was the finish of the match, especially with Gargano like just kicking out of like all those finishers near the end is really well done.
I like how he's throwing out old school finish.
Yeah. And then towards the end of the match, of course, then the rest of Undisputed Era came out and started. It's kind of weird. So it was still technically not a no DQ match, right? Even though it's 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, correct. It was just so like that's why they still had a chance to get like count out wins.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. So then they did the spot where like they started interfering, and then the referee took a bump, and then that's where like I think it was O'Reilly and Fish that hit their double T move. I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Flying knee sweep.
Yeah. Total elimination, I think.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So anytime you go high low like that with a sweep, dude, that's total elimination.
Yeah. So then from there, Gargano, was still kicking out. He did it in a way where like he was able to like take out every member of Undisputed Era, but he did it in like a really convincing way. I don't remember the order, but watching it, like he did it like a really good job of like taking them all out, and it made sense. And then near the end, I think, like Cole had hit like his knee thing again, and everyone thought like, I mean, he had a couple of like super moves.
Yeah, he got him with a super kick to the face, a super kick to the back of the head, and then
and then the knee. I think.
And then he like gave him a shining wizard. I was like, oh my goodness, he had 3 specials like just saved.
Yeah.
R1, like, R1.
SmackDown style.
I'm telling you, he tore him up. I said, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So then, I even thought that was the finish, but then, like Gargano still kicked out after he had taken out the rest of Undisputed. Like he finally got him in the Gargano lock. Mm-hmm. He held him there for a while, which I liked, just so like it would give Cole that credit of like not just immediately tapping,
not being a pump.
Yeah. So after a while, like Cole ends up tapping, and we finally get it. We finally get Gargano winning the big one at that point.
I know, but it's just so. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Because it was supposed to be Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Adam Cole.
Yeah.
But, man, bro.
It's like getting that... it would be like if you were about to like get that promotion, but then all of a sudden the other person either got let go or just left the company, and then automatically you get it. You're like happy that you got the position, but like you would have felt like you earned it more like if you actually like got it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Either way, like I'm really happy that he got it because of all the time that he's been there since like with Ciampa since like the Cruiserweight Classic, and it was literally the best story that they were telling, but like unfortunately they couldn't close it the way that they wanted to close it,
Definitely. Yeah. No, that's kind of sad right there. And I hope for the best for Tommaso Ciampa, man, not having the best of luck with surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, he's having great luck. They're all going great, but it's tough, man.
Yeah, in the worst case scenario, like say like if Ciampa does have to like retire similar to like Edge or anyone else with a neck injury, where maybe even if it's like Bryan, where like he just has to take a couple of years off just to like let it fully recover. Mm-hmm. The way I guess we'll skip forward. Gargano had celebrated with like Candice and celebrated with his family. And then once they went up to the ramp and like they showed the little like timestamp at the end, then all of a sudden Ciampa does come out with his neck brace. And of course, like as a fan, you're still kind of worried about like, oh, is he even going to really do anything? But it was kind of cool just having him like be there for him and like
it's not like he was gonna do that
the screen smashing.
He's gonna throw him into the screen and then pull off his neck brace like
I mean that's what I'm saying, like it's like you just don't know anymore because like I know he actually had surgery. Even with that, like you just never know in this business anymore. But it was kind of cool, and like kind of how we were just saying at that point, it's cool that like they somewhat ended the story, like even though kayfabe wise it didn't make sense because like he literally just super kicked that fool like a couple of weeks ago. But it's still a nice spot just because like they've definitely like are best friends in real life and like have been there for each other, and it was a nice way to like somewhat close the chapter. Kind of what I was saying is like if unfortunately Ciampa does have to take even longer time to fully recover, so like he's not at risk to his own life, they have set it up in a way where like if Gargano stays on NXT or if they both kind of move up, it'd be cool for Ciampa to be kind of more like that manager role at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be really good for him.
Yeah. I really enjoy how like the takeovers before Manias really do end kind of like a series, like a season finale, because like they pretty much like if you were to stop watching NXT or wrestling, you could really just end it there because it does somewhat close that chapter where like they're on good terms and like they're not like feuding, and then the other matches on the card kind of the same way too. Like they kind of just ended on a good note. That even though I'm excited for like the next episode of NXT, like if you were just like a fan that just kind of wanted to take a break, you can just take a break there and not be left on any cliffhangers at that point.
The only match that really wasn't too definitive on like what's kind of going to happen next, or that didn't have a chapter close as much as it had a chapter begin was the UK title.
Yeah.
Everything else was like, all right, ladies, you guys lost the Baszler.
Yeah.
I don't want to see none of y'all for a hot minute now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tag titles next. Forgotten Sons, clearly.
Yeah.
North American title. Maybe we'll see Riddle again. Maybe we're not.
Yeah.
But he needs to, that may have just began this rivalry, but he's kind of got to go back down to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And then the NXT title, like Adam Cole, bro, you just lost.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. You could get up in this North American title chase, but it's not your time yet, Playboy.
Yeah. Panama Beach.
Oh, yes, the Panama City Playboy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
My apologies to Mr. Cole.
Like I mentioned earlier, like I really enjoy the show. Like for me, I'm going to be a little bit biased and still say like the one that we went to for New Orleans last year, I felt was a little bit like I enjoyed a little bit more. Partially because we were there live as well, but like that's not taking anything away from this show. It's like it was like a solid show overall, and I'll probably even like check it out again just because like I was still tired and like watching these matches. I do kind of want to like give it a second watch and like really like notice the little details in each match.
Oh yeah. I want to watch that tag team match.
I
watched it last night after we got back in.
Yeah. So did I. So that's why I'm just like I do want to like revisit a few just because
I was like, I could be able to watch NXT tonight, and no, I couldn't. I watched that first match. I was hella into it, but I was like, man,
I'm tired.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
Right now. So like we got up early and we put it on.
Yeah.
I think you just started probably like 30 minutes before we did.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think from time to time we'll just kind of do these like just reaction takeovers just so like we kind of like freshen it up for ourselves and for you guys to also get like our perspective on like the current product. And then we'll let you know when we do these from time to time. But it's been fun. Like I like doing, of course, the current product because that's what we're watching too. So
to go back and think about what we're watching as what started. Hey, you know what? Did you catch when Johnny Gargano hit that full Nelson flatliner? Like
that was like, so good.
Yeah, it was the same move that Darren Young used on David O'Connor.
I know. I was like, I forgot to make note of that. I was like, wait a minute.
No,
it's a callback.
I definitely saw that and I popped for it. I was like, wow, we just seen that, and that's how you make that move look cool. That's exactly how you do that because it looked much cooler when they did it.
Yeah. Gargano listens to the podcast. I'm convinced now.
You know what? I've got to be convinced myself. That's the only way that works, bro. Like, ain't nobody's using that move like that. I think that might have been one of his moves.
Yeah.
But still,
we
were just talking about it.
So I was like, yeah, that's how you do it. All right, cool. Well, thanks again, guys, for listening. And then, just check out the weekly podcast as well. And then, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again for listening.
Yeah.